September 476 CE. A barbarian warlord forces the teenage Roman emperor to resign. Rome falls. Except none of that is true. And we've been teaching the wrong lesson for 15 centuries. Here's what your textbook probably said. Barbarians conquered Rome in 476, the lights went out across Europe, and the Dark Ages began. Clean narrative. One problem: nobody at the time thought Rome had fallen. Meet Odoacer. Barbarian warlord, sure, but when he took control in 476, he didn't destroy Rome, he just ran it, like dozens of military strongmen before him. Business as usual for the late empire. Rome had fallen before, to the Visigoths in 410, to the Vandals in 455. Hell, Julius Caesar basically conquered it himself. Each time, Rome kept going. 476 wasn't special, yet. And here's the kicker. The Roman Empire didn't even end. The eastern half, centered in Constantinople, kept rolling for another 1,000 years. Same government, same bureaucracy, same identity. Just inconveniently alive. So why do we think 476 matters? Because 50 years later, a Byzantine chronicler named Marcellinus needed a good story to justify an absolutely brutal invasion. And he found one in the past. Marcellinus wrote that when Odoacer took control, the Western Empire perished. Past tense, done. This gave Emperor Justinian the perfect excuse. We're not invading Italy. We're liberating it from barbarians who killed Rome decades ago. Justinian launched his reconquest in the 530s. 20 years of war, cities burned, infrastructure destroyed. When the smoke cleared, Italy was actually ruined for the first time in centuries. The irony is savage. Justinian claimed he was restoring Rome. Instead, his war to reclaim an empire that hadn't actually fallen caused it to actually fall. Congratulations, you played yourself. But the myth stuck. Later, historians found Marcellinus's account, saw that convenient 476 date, and locked it in. For 1,500 years, we've been teaching the wrong fall date and blaming the wrong people. Think about what that means. The most studied collapse in history? We've been analysing a fabricated event. Imagine if 9/11 scholarship was based on a date someone made up decades later to justify starting a different war. The traditional story is comforting. Barbarians invaded, civilization collapsed, darkness followed. It's simple, it's dramatic. It assigns clear blame. And it's mostly BS. But if 476 is fake and Justinian's invasion was the real killer, what actually weakened Rome enough to make that invasion possible? That's where the story gets interesting and way more relevant. Rome didn't fall to barbarians. It collapsed under its own weight. Then someone weaponized that story to burn what was left. Let's talk about what actually killed the greatest empire in history. Let's start with the most basic resource: people. At its peak, Rome's population hit around 1 million. By the 500s, 6,000. That's not a decline. That's demographic extinction. What causes that kind of population crash? Part of it was lifestyle choices. Wealthy Romans literally chose luxury over children. When your entire upper class decides family isn't worth the hassle, that's a civilization-level problem. Then there were the plagues. Waves of disease that hit repeatedly. No antibiotics, no understanding of germ theory, and cities packed tight. Population decline wasn't just a choice, it was also a consequence. Fewer people means less tax revenue. Less tax revenue means smaller armies. Smaller armies mean weaker borders, and weaker borders mean, well, you see where this goes. It's a death spiral. Speaking of armies, Rome's military wasn't defeated, it was defunded. The empire ran on two levers: massive taxation and the professional army that taxation supported. When the money dried up, so did military power. The tax system itself was part of the problem. Rome's government intruded bureaucratically into every locality to squeeze out revenue. But in the late empire, there was less and less to squeeze. Killing the golden goose, but slower. Then the economy collapsed. Rome had sophisticated production chains, long-distance trade networks, specialized manufacturing. All of it depended on state-subsidized infrastructure. When the state couldn't pay anymore, the network disintegrated. Consider what that actually means. No more specialized goods, no more long-distance trade, local economies only. Rome went from globalized supply chains to medieval villages making everything themselves. Economic time travel, backwards. Education collapsed too. Why learn advanced Latin when there's no bureaucracy to work in? Literacy went from required for elite careers to pointless. Advanced literacy became confined to churchmen for 500 years. Think about that knowledge loss. Constantine tried to fix things by moving the capital to Constantinople and making Christianity the official religion. Strategic move, but also an admission. Rome, the city, was no longer the center of Rome, the empire. By the time Odoaxus showed up in 476, the Western Empire was already a zombie. The infrastructure was failing. The economy was local. The population was in free fall. He didn't kill Rome. He inherited a corpse. Here's the insight. Rome wasn't conquered. It decomposed. Systems failure on every level simultaneously. Population, economy, military, culture, all unwinding together. No single cause. Just cascading collapse that took centuries. So if that's what actually happened, why does it matter that we got the story wrong? Because the myth we've been teaching doesn't just misunderstand the past. It teaches exactly the wrong lesson for the present. The myth says, fear the outsider. Barbarians at the gates will destroy you. Build walls, close borders, protect civilization from those who don't belong. That's the lesson 1,500 years of scholarship extracted from Rome's fall. But that's not what happened. Rome's borders were porous for centuries while it was strong. Barbarians served in its armies, married into its elite, ran its government. That wasn't the problem. The internal collapse was the problem. The real lesson? Watch your internal systems. When your population stops reproducing, your economy stops producing, your infrastructure crumbles, your education collapses. Those are the killers, not the people at the borders. And here's the truly dangerous part. Claiming your civilization has already fallen, that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Marcellinus said Rome fell in 476. That lie justified Justinian's war, which actually destroyed what remained. Sound familiar? How many modern politicians claim their country is falling or has already fallen, then use that narrative to justify actions that actually weaken the country? Justinian's playbook, 21st century edition. The fall of Rome teaches us that history is written by people with agendas. Marcellinus needed justification for war. Later historians needed a clean narrative. We needed a cautionary tale. So we all agreed on a lie. But accepting comfortable lies about the past makes us blind to uncomfortable truths in the present. Rome didn't fall to outsiders. It rotted from within. That's the lesson that actually applies to modern civilizations. Look at declining birth rates in developed countries, crumbling infrastructure, education systems failing, economies increasingly fragile. Those are Roman problems. Those are the things that actually killed Rome. And we're too busy looking at the borders to notice. Some historians saw the Dark Ages as necessary. Slavery and entrenched hierarchy had to die before equality could emerge. Maybe. But that took 1,000 years and countless lives. Rome's fall wasn't progress. It was collapse. The stakes are higher now. When Rome fell, the world was regional. Knowledge survived in the East. Today, we're globally interconnected. If modern civilization collapses like Rome, there's no Byzantine Empire to preserve the knowledge and rebuild later. So what do we do with this? First, stop obsessing about who's crossing your borders. Start obsessing about whether your systems work. Are people having kids? Can you maintain infrastructure? Is education accessible? Those are your actual threats. Second, be skeptical when someone tells you civilization has already fallen. That narrative is a weapon. It's been a weapon since Marcellinus used it in 510. When someone says, "We've already lost everything," ask what they're about to justify. Rome didn't fall in 476. It decomposed over centuries. Then someone weaponized the story to finish the job. 1,500 years later, we're still learning the wrong lesson. Maybe it's time we got the story right before we repeat it.